The year is 180 AD. Marcus Aurelius, the last of the five good emperors, lies dying. His health has been deteriorating for some time, and now the end is near. His reign, marked by wisdom and justice, had been a golden age for Rome. He was a beacon of stability and a paragon of virtue. But his death casts a long shadow. The future seems uncertain. The people of Rome are anxious, unsure of what lies ahead. A sense of foreboding hangs in the air. The once vibrant streets of Rome now seem filled with unease and trepidation. Marcus Aurelius had embodied the Platonic ideal of a philosopher king. He was not just a ruler, but a thinker, a man of deep contemplation. He ruled with fairness and compassion. His decisions were guided by a sense of justice and a desire to do what was right for his people. His reign saw the flourishing of Roman culture and the expansion of its territories. The arts, literature, and philosophy thrived under his patronage. He was a Stoic, believing in duty and acceptance of fate. His personal philosophy was one of resilience and inner strength. He penned his famous Meditations during his military campaigns. These writings have endured through the ages, offering wisdom and insight. However, even Aurelius could not escape the realities of power. The demands of leadership were relentless and unforgiving. His reign was marked by constant warfare along the empire's borders. The Roman legions were always on the move, defending the empire from numerous threats. The pressures of leadership weighed heavily upon him. He often found solace in his philosophical reflections. He knew that his sickly son, Commodus, was unfit to rule. This knowledge troubled him deeply as he pondered the future of Rome, yet he named him heir, hoping for the best. Perhaps he believed that the responsibilities of leadership would transform Commodus. With Aurelius's death, the era of the five good emperors came to an end. The people mourned the loss of a great leader. This period, spanning almost a century, had been one of unprecedented peace and prosperity for Rome. The empire had reached its zenith. But as the empire entered a new chapter, the seeds of its decline were already being sown. The cracks in the foundation were beginning to show. The stage was set for a tumultuous period of internal strife and external threats. The stability that Rome had enjoyed was now at risk. Rome's fall from grace was about to begin. The once mighty empire would soon face challenges that would test its very core. Rome's golden age, known as Pax Romana, had begun 2 centuries before Marcus Aurelius. This era marked a significant turning point in Roman history. It started with the reign of Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Augustus laid the foundation for a stable and prosperous empire. This period was characterized by unprecedented peace and prosperity within Rome's vast territories. Markets thrived and trade routes were bustling with activity. The empire's reach extended from the British Isles to the Middle East, encompassing diverse cultures and peoples. The Pax Romana was a time of flourishing trade and economic growth. Merchants traveled far and wide, bringing wealth and exotic goods to Rome. Roads and infrastructure connected the far corners of the empire. The Romans built an extensive network of roads and aqueducts, facilitating travel and communication. Roman law and governance provided stability and order. The legal system was advanced and helped maintain peace across the empire. This led to a growth in population and urbanization. Cities expanded and new urban centers emerged, attracting people from all over the empire. Cities flourished, boasting impressive architecture and public works. Temples, public baths, and amphitheaters became central to Roman urban life. The Roman legions, renowned for their discipline and efficiency, maintained peace within the empire's borders. Their presence was a deterrent to potential threats. They effectively dealt with rebellions and uprisings. The legions were always ready to respond to any internal conflicts. The legions also defended the empire from external threats. They guarded the frontiers and ensured the security of the empire. Their presence ensured the safety of trade routes and the prosperity of Roman citizens. Merchants could travel without fear, knowing they were protected. The Pax Romana was a time of great cultural and intellectual achievement. Scholars and artists thrived, contributing to the rich cultural tapestry of Rome. Roman literature, philosophy, and art flourished. The works of poets, philosophers, and artists from this period are still celebrated today. This period saw the rise of famous poets like Virgil and Ovid. Their writings have left an indelible mark on Western literature. The Romans made significant advancements in engineering and architecture. Their innovations set new standards for construction and urban planning. The Colosseum and Pantheon stand as testaments to their architectural prowess. These iconic structures continue to inspire awe and admiration. Commodus, unlike his father, was not a ruler cut from the same cloth. He was more interested in gladiatorial combat and personal pleasure than in governing. His reign marked a turning point in Roman history. It signaled the beginning of the empire's decline from within. Commodus's reign was characterized by extravagance, paranoia, and cruelty. He neglected his duties, preferring to indulge in lavish spectacles and games. He saw himself as the reincarnation of Hercules, participating in gladiatorial contests. This eroded the respect and authority he held as emperor. His paranoia led him to distrust the Senate, executing several members on charges of treason. This created an atmosphere of fear and instability within the Roman government. His corrupt officials exploited the people, further weakening the empire's foundation. Commodus's actions undermined the stability of the empire. His focus on personal pleasure over governance had dire consequences. His reign, though short-lived, left a lasting scar on Roman society. It set a dangerous precedent for future emperors. Section 4. Enter Septimius Severus, a new emperor, a new Rome. Commodus's reign of terror ended with his assassination in 192 AD. A period of instability and civil war followed. From this chaos, Septimius Severus emerged as the new emperor. A ruthless and ambitious general, Severus was determined to restore order and consolidate his power. Severus's reign marked a significant shift in Roman governance. He understood the importance of the army's loyalty. He rewarded his soldiers handsomely, increasing their pay and privileges. This, however, came at a cost. It shifted the balance of power away from the Senate towards the military. Severus implemented military reforms to strengthen the empire's defenses. He increased the size of the army and restructured legions. He recognized the growing threat from beyond Rome's borders. He fortified the frontiers and prepared for future conflicts. Severus's reign, while marked by stability and order, came at a price. His reliance on the military and his autocratic style of rule set a precedent for future emperors. This ultimately undermined the traditional institutions of Roman governance. It paved the way for a more militarized and authoritarian empire. Section 5. Severus's campaigns, expanding the empire's reach. Severus, ever the pragmatist, knew that Rome's strength lay in its military might. He embarked on several military campaigns throughout his reign. These campaigns aimed to quell rebellions and secure the empire's borders. His conquests brought both glory and strain to Rome. One of Severus's most notable campaigns was in Britain. The northern frontier was constantly under threat from Pictish tribes. Severus led his legions north, pushing back the Picts and strengthening Hadrian's Wall. This campaign, however, took a toll on the aging emperor. Severus also campaigned in the east against the Parthian Empire. The Parthians, longtime rivals of Rome, had grown increasingly bold. Severus's campaign was a success, sacking the Parthian capital of Ctesiphon in 198 AD. This victory, though costly, reasserted Roman dominance in the region. These campaigns, while successful in expanding and securing the empire, came at a cost. They drained the imperial treasury and stretched the Roman army thin. The constant warfare also masked the growing internal problems within the empire. Section 6. The Shadow of Caracalla, a Reign of Tyranny. This chapter delves into the dark and tumultuous period of Roman history under the rule of Caracalla, a time marked by bloodshed, betrayal, and economic turmoil. In 211 AD, Severus died in York, Britain during his campaign. His death marked the end of an era, but it also set the stage for a new and even more chaotic chapter in Roman history. His sons, Caracalla and Geta, were proclaimed joint emperors. This dual rule was intended to bring stability and continuity to the empire. However, their joint rule was short-lived. The brothers were unable to reconcile their differences, leading to a power struggle that would have fatal consequences. Caracalla, driven by ambition and paranoia, murdered his brother and seized sole power This act of fratricide shocked the empire and set the tone for his brutal reign. Caracalla's reign was even more tyrannical and unstable than his father's. His rule was characterized by fear, oppression, and a relentless pursuit of power. He was ruthless in eliminating his opponents, both real and imagined. No one was safe from his wrath as he sought to consolidate his power through terror. He ordered the execution of anyone suspected of disloyalty, including senators, soldiers, and even members of his own family. His paranoia knew no bounds, and his actions created a climate of fear and suspicion. To fund his lavish lifestyle and appease the army, Caracalla increased taxes and devalued the Roman currency. This economic mismanagement had far-reaching consequences for the empire. This led to rampant inflation and further strained the already overburdened populace. The common people bore the brunt of his policies, struggling to make ends meet in an increasingly unstable economy. His actions eroded the trust between the emperor and the people. The once strong bond between the ruler and his subjects was shattered, replaced by resentment and anger. Caracalla's reign was a disaster for Rome. His policies and actions left the empire in a state of disarray, with crumbling infrastructure and a demoralized populace. His cruelty, paranoia, and economic mismanagement further weakened the empire. The damage he inflicted would take years to repair, if it could be repaired at all. His actions exacerbated the problems that had been brewing for decades. The internal strife and external threats that plagued Rome were only made worse by his tyrannical rule. He left Rome vulnerable to both internal strife and external threats. The empire's enemies took advantage of its weakened state, further destabilizing the region. His reign serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of tyranny. The legacy of Caracalla is a cautionary tale, a dark chapter in the history of Rome that underscores the importance of balanced and just leadership.